You can study in the morning, you can study at night. You can study outside by a campfire light. You can study with the rabbit.
In this week's Parsha, Parshat Shemot, we read about a Melech Chadash, a new king, a new pharaoh taking over Egypt who didn't know about Joseph. And we get into the beginnings of the Israelite slavery, and we learn that as the times got harder, as the burden became greater, and as Moshe tried desperately to free the Israelites, that Pharaoh doubled down. That he said that we're not going to give them any straw anymore to make the bricks. They're going to have to go and gather the straw themselves. And the quota of bricks, by the way, how many bricks they have to make, don't take anything away from it. Because if we do, then they're just going to be lax. We want them to be screaming. We want them to be suffering. What do we make of this? This terrible ugliness. Why would the Pharaoh, who was already burdening them with such terrible slavery, double down and make it even worse by making them go get their own straw and not reducing their load at all? Well, the key might be that he doesn't want them to become lax. Lax to do what? The Ramchal, Rabbi Chaim Moshe Luzzatto, in his book The Path of the Just, explains that what Pharaoh essentially wanted to do was overburden them so much that they wouldn't have any time or energy to even think about freedom and redemption. He wanted to give them so much to do that there was no energy, there was no time to even conceive of the idea of being a free people, to focus on what's most important. Just busy them with anything. There are things in our lives that are so important that we have to struggle every day to focus on them. And we are challenged in this. We are challenged by petty divisiveness. We're challenged by distraction after distraction after distraction to move us away, to make us lax toward that which is most important in our lives, those values that we hold most dear, that which we yearn for. We can follow the Israelites into their slavery of being lost to redemption, being lost to freedom, not even being able to imagine what is right and what is just, or we can fight back against that. There are people in our world today who are trying to steer us away from focusing on making sure that all people are treated equally, created in the image of God. There are people that are trying to distract us from the truth that our planet will not exist on its own. We will not continue to exist in this planet if we do nothing, if we become lax. There are people that are trying to distract us from the cause of righteousness, from the cause of liberty, from the cause of truth. We cannot allow ourselves to become lax. Somehow we have to find the strength to stand up against those forces, to call those people to task, to make sure that the values that built this country, the values that make Jews who they are, that those are the values that we fight for every day. People have been talking about a resistance. This may well be a time of resistance. Not so much a resistance against a person or a party, but a resistance against complacency, a resistance against accepting that this is the status quo. We have to resist being distracted from those things that we know to be eternally true, the values that make life worth living. That's our challenge. We might have to go and collect the corn ourselves. We might have to go out and collect the straw ourselves. But we can never let that added burden distract us from the primary work of bringing about redemption for ourselves, for all of our people, and for the United States of America.
We're talking Torah. Talking Torah.